Hey folks, I'm Brendan, and you're watching the Overqualified Henchman. Last time, in an effort to distract myself from the massive disappointment that was the Iron Fist Netflix series, I recounted the time that he and Misty Knight fought the Wrecking Crew. You know, it's been a couple of weeks since the series came out, and yeah, when I first watched it, I'll admit I felt maybe a little betrayed. But that feeling eventually turned into, well, more of an all-consuming numbness that affected all aspects of my life and impacted my interpersonal relationships and festered into a white-hot core of rage. And you might say, hey, that seems like you're overreacting. But if that's the case, you can fight me, and you'll find that I still have better choreography than Finn Jones. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The point is that the Wrecking Crew were back in town to kill Thor, but instead of him, they ran into Danny and Misty. Things took a turn for the worst when Thunderball took Misty hostage, and the Wrecker demanded that Iron Fist use his martial arts training to infiltrate Avengers Mansion, set a trap for Thor, and kill any Avengers he might come across. And so, we pick up right where we left off, with the shield and the power. All-out action as Iron Fist faces the super might of Captain America. We open with Captain America, living legend and Avenger, on monitor duty at Avengers Mansion. It's been 6 hours since the Wrecking Crew attacked that Eastside Medical Center, and in the meantime, nobody's seen anything of them or Iron Fist. This being the Marvel Universe, where no good deed goes unpunished, about half the news sources Cap's checking say that Iron Fist was helping the Wrecking Crew as opposed to fighting them. Now, calling out that 6 hours have passed since last issue might seem weirdly specific, but it's actually important. See, Iron Fist has spent those 6 hours slowly, painstakingly working his way around the security of Avengers Mansion. This helps establish Danny's self-control and patience, important aspects of the character, and prevents the Avengers from looking like chumps for just letting a guy in bright yellow and green waltz into the place. Saying 6 hours as opposed to just a few hours or later that day gives a sense that the writers have carefully plotted every character and element along some kind of complicated timeline, whether or not they actually have. Anyway, Iron Fist spends all that time carefully working around security systems, drops in through a skylight, and lands directly in front of Jarvis, the Avengers' butler. Iron Fist tries to tell him that he's not there to fight, he wants the Avengers' help saving Misty. But you don't last as long as the Avengers butler as Jarvis has by falling for that one. Meanwhile, Captain America's been doing some research on this Iron Fist fellow, and he's found multiple newspaper articles charging him with murder. Unfortunately, he heads out before getting to the part where Iron Fist was cleared of those charges. Steve, we've talked about this. You can't believe just every article somebody posts on Facebook. You've got to take time, verify it with multiple sources. That's just the media environment we live in these days. Meanwhile, Jarvis is fleeing from Iron Fist, but trips and begins to fall down the stairs. Luckily for him, Danny uses his acrobatics training to catch the butler and cushion the fall with his own body. While he's physically okay, the shock of all of this causes Jarvis to faint, and of course, that's when Captain America walks in. The name is Captain America, and you're Iron Fist, the Kung Fu Killer. Well, killer, you'd better pray that you haven't added Jarvis to your list of victims, because if you have, I'm going to make you wish you'd never been born. Again, Danny tries to explain himself, but to be fair, this looks really bad. So Captain America throws his mighty shield. Gods, his shield, coming at me from every side, as if it were alive. Iron Fist tries to end things quickly with a single punch, brack! But Captain America rolls with it and fires right back, pow! Iron Fist is still holding back, but you can't hold back against Captain America, and he gets sent crashing through a door, splintering the wood. He ducks around a corner while Cap approaches slowly, silently as a cat. Iron Fist has never faced anyone like this before. His technique is basic, but his speed and power are incredible. But Iron Fist has to keep trying for Misty's sake. Kai! Gods, he blocked my punch! That I did, youngster. Like I said, Iron Fist, you're good. Possibly as fine a martial artist as Mantis was. But that's not good enough. Let's take a second to talk about the time-honored tradition of the superhero misunderstanding fight. As any wrestling fan will tell you, the secret to good booking is making both fighters look good, regardless of who actually wins. If we take a step back from the story, we know that Captain America probably isn't going to lose this fight. He's Captain America. But people didn't buy an issue of Iron Fist just to watch him get his butt whooped. So here we have a Danny who's exhausted from fighting the Wrecking Crew, and is holding back because he doesn't really want to fight Cap. As Cap pushes him harder and harder though, he starts to go all out. We can't give him too many excuses or Cap looks bad. While Iron Fist has all the fancy moves, Cap has experience, and no amount of Kunlun training is going to prepare you for the way he uses that shield. While Iron Fist is fighting to save Misty, Cap thinks Iron Fist hurt his friend, Jarvis. They're both emotionally invested. Emotionally invested enough that Danny Danny decides the only way he's going to get Cap to stop and listen is to use the Iron Fist. Now, he already used the power of the Iron Fist twice in the previous issue, and at this point in his career, using it 3 times in a day is practically unthinkable. The strain is almost more than he can bear, but he can't afford to hold back anymore. He strikes with all of his might for Misty. The attack sends Cap flying, but what Danny didn't know is that the special alloy of Cap's shield allows it to absorb most of the attack without so much as a dent. Cap gets right back up. Now that Cap knows about Iron Fist's secret weapon, he's going to keep this fight at a distance, so he throws his shield. Danny ducks, but it slices through the machinery over his head. With the support cut, that machinery starts to fall, but Iron Fist doesn't move. Cap doesn't know what this kid is trying to pull now, but he can't just stand there and watch somebody let themselves be killed. He launches himself at Iron Fist in a flying tackle, knocking them both out of the way at the last moment. At which point Iron Fist says, "Hey, now that you've saved my life, do you think you might be willing to listen to my explanation? We can always go back to punching each other later." Never let it be said that Steve Rogers doesn't respect the so crazy it just might work school of heroics, and finally they're able to get on the same page. Danny proposes that instead of helping the Wrecking Crew set up a trap for Thor, he and Cap set a trap for the Wrecking Crew. Remember though that each member of the Wrecking Crew is themselves as powerful as an Asgardian, and they've gotten sick of waiting for Iron Fist. They peek out of the sewers to see Iron Fist giving them the all clear. They find Jarvis tied up by the front door, but the Wrecker reminds Iron Fist he said, "Kill any Avengers you run into." Iron Fist points out that the Butler probably doesn't count as an Avenger. Besides, he killed Captain America. Come on, he'll show you the body. They find Captain America sprawled, unmoving on the floor, and the Wrecking Crew are already thinking about how they're going to take care of the rest of the Avengers too. And Iron Fist while they're at it. I mean, they are the bad guys. You probably saw the double cross coming. Thunderball, on the other hand, distracted by making sure Captain America is actually dead, doesn't see Iron Fist coming. He frees Misty and shoves her out of the room right before the doors slam shut and lock. Danger room on. Thor sequence activated. "Boss, all of yous, Cap is getting up. He ain't dead. This was a setup." "You called it, pile driver. A trap. And you 4 walked into it like a bunch of rank amateurs." Somehow a burn like that is just so much worse coming from Captain America, you know? Of course, the 4 members of the Wrecking Crew are not super worried about being locked in a room with 2 more or less normal guys. Right up until a slab of metal whams into Thunderball. While Cap attacks Pile Driver from behind, the Wrecker tries to use his enchanted crowbar to break through the floor, and instead gets hit with a gush of water strong enough to knock him off his feet. "What's gonna take more than that to stop Bulldozer?" "Whatever you say, pal." Wham! This is a training room, specifically running a training sequence designed to push Thor to his limits. There's just one problem with that. A training sequence dangerous enough to stop the Wrecking Crew in their tracks could straight up kill Iron Fist or Captain America if they get hit by one of those traps. Assuming, of course, the Wrecking Crew don't get them first. The Wrecker has the same idea. If he and his boys are going down, he's taking out Cap and Iron Fist with him. Cap remembers that that enchanted crowbar is supposed to have the same clout as Thor's hammer, so he doesn't give Wrecker a chance to use it. Star-spangled uppercut! The Danger Room does the rest of the work, bouncing the Wrecker from the walls to the ceiling and back again. The Wrecker complains that this isn't fighting fair. Well, that's neat, Wrecker, coming from a man whose goal in life is the murder of another human being, and the destruction of anyone who got in his way. You're finished, and all you got for your troubles is a lot of lumps and a lot more years in jail. So tell me, was it worth all of the grief it caused? Danny's had a long day. He's allowed a little speechifying. Not being the sort of lady to just sit these things out, Misty's used her bionic arm to break the locking mechanism on the door and get into the Danger Room. Of course, by the time she does, she finds Danny and Cap sitting on top of a pile of Nornstone-empowered thugs, looking awfully pleased with themselves. And that's that. But not before Cap apologizes to Iron Fist for misjudging him. Steve Rogers is a class act. Danny and Misty slip out the side of the mansion to avoid reporters and go to get some dinner, marking the beginning of a beautiful friendship. That's the end of our story, but I do want to take a moment to appreciate the next issue blurb. Back again, Boomerang! Classic. Thanks for watching. You can let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this issue, and if there are other characters or stories you'd like to see me cover. If you liked the video, please remember to hit that like button, think about subscribing or heading over to my channel and checking out some of my other comic book videos. Until next time, keep on henching, and join me in crossing your fingers and hoping that maybe, Defenders will still be good. Please let Defenders be good.